everybody, how's it going? And welcome to my review of Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, a new film from writer-director Kevin Smith, and is the 8th film in the View Askew-niverse. And if you don't know what a View Askew-niverse is, this film is not made for you. I'm just gonna say straight out, if you haven't been following any of Kevin Smith's films, or even if you're only a very casual fan, you're probably not going to find too much in this movie that's going to appeal to you, because this film is very much a love letter to the fans. This movie is completely designed for Kevin Smith's audience. So the film is essentially a rehash of Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back that came out in sort of early to mid 2000s. Jay and Silent Bob find out that there's a reboot of Blunt Man and Chronic being made, and they sort of coerce into signing the rights to their names. So they've got to travel to Hollywood to put an end to the Blunt Man and Chronic movie, which, yeah, sounds familiar. But the one thing that they didn't count on was the fact that, and it's not a spoiler because it's in the trailers, Jay has a daughter. So not only does he have to go on this adventure to try and shut down this movie, but he's also got to wrestle with the idea that he's gotten older and is now a dad. But here's the thing, you know, yeah, it is a rehash of the exact same plot from that previous film, but it's not trying to hide that fact. In a way, the movie is just full of social commentary and criticisms against the film industry in the way that it just rehashes ideas from the past. And I know it can be argued that, well, if he's going to be doing that, like, why is he just doing that himself? But like I said, this movie is very much designed for the fans. Now, look, I've just got to come right out and say I am a massive, massive Kevin Smith fan. Ever since Clerks, that I saw back in '94, which was the movie that inspired me to become a filmmaker. I mean, that's how important this guy's work is to me. I saw that film, and at that point, I was under the impression that you needed like $1 million and a whole bunch of fancy equipment and tons of people to make a movie. And I saw that thing and I was like, you know what? He made a really good movie for nothing with hardly anyone in one location mostly. And yeah, it was kind of a life-changing thing for me. And then following that, Mallrats, Chasing Amy, Dogma. I mean, around the time of Dogma, I actually got to speak to Jason Mewes over the phone. I've collected a ton of merchandise from these guys. Like, yeah, I am one of those hardcore Kevin Smith fans. But that being said, when I first started watching Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, the first act, it didn't sell me. I wasn't on board. It sort of seemed like they were just too much relying on previous jokes, to the point where there were even some instances where they literally look at the camera and kind of smile and wink because it's just like, yeah, using a joke that's already been done. I mean, even by Kevin Smith standards, this film is really, really self-indulgent, to the point where he's even got himself in the film as Kevin Smith and Silent Bob, which doesn't make a lot of sense. But look, a lot of things in this movie don't make sense. It is silly. It is a really stupid movie. There is no doubt about that. But it's that kind of Kevin Smith silliness that we fans appreciate. And, you know, it all comes down again to the fact that this movie was definitely made for us fans. The film is absolutely littered with cameos from tons of people who I'm not going to list now. Most of them are people from previous Kevin Smith films, not just Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. We've got other people from Dogma, from Chasing Amy. Yeah, it's almost like a bookend, like, to pretty much every film that he made in that Askewniverse. So yeah, like I said, the first act, I wasn't on board. I even messaged my friend Steve. Hello, Steve, I know you're watching. And yeah, I was kind of complaining about it. I was like, oh man, this film's not really that good. And one thing he said, which I absolutely loved, was, can you imagine back in '06 if we'd told ourselves, like our past selves, that there was going to come a day where there were going to be Star Wars films and Kevin Smith films that we didn't like? Like, what would our reaction be? And yeah, it's kind of weird. But thankfully this film definitely got better, and it got better as soon as Kevin Smith's daughter Harley Quinn Smith was introduced into this thing, playing Jay's daughter Millie, which is short for Millennium Falcon, which I'm pretty sure was Kevin Smith kind of taking the piss out of himself for naming his daughter Harley Quinn. But her performance was really good in this. She delivered a lot of range with her emotion. She was kind of this, like, you know, messed up kid who was very hard-edged to start with, but yeah, as the story went on, like, she kind of hit you in the feels a little bit. And that's the thing with this movie, like, Kevin Smith knows that his audience is now older. A lot of his fan base are parents. Not me. Well, not that I know of. The film, it has grown with the audience. Like, there are a lot of themes of fatherhood and being a parent and just growing older and, yeah, living a different life. So while I couldn't relate to the fatherhood stuff, like, the growing older stuff, yeah, that definitely spoke to me. And the film, you know, I always say that Clerks 2, even though the film was... The story was delivered in such a crude and vulgar sort of way. That film had so much heart. It really did. And this film, it didn't quite reach that level, but it almost got there. And I think that's pretty much all I can say about this film. Like I said, if you're not a Kevin Smith fan, just don't go anywhere near it. If you've only seen one or two of his films, you're probably not going to get a lot of the references in this movie. A lot of the jokes rely really heavily on past material, so if you haven't been following the Askewniverse, you're not going to understand a lot of what this film is trying to tell you. So when I give my rating for this film, it is definitely from a View Askew fan, and I don't think that's being biased because I am one of the people that this film was made for. So when I give the movie a grade, just know that, yeah, it is coming from a place of someone who has been following Kevin Smith's career since 1994. I will buy it on Blu-ray when I can, mainly because I've got every other film that he's made. So that being said, I'm going to give Jay and Silent Bob Reboot a 7 out of 10. I mean, realistically, yeah, if I was going to grade the film from a non-fan point of view, you'd be down around the 3 or 4 range, I guess. But, yeah, the film knows what it is, and it was fun enough. So thank you very much for taking the time to watch my review of Jay and Silent Bob Reboot. And if you've seen the film, I'd love to know what you guys thought of it. Particularly, yeah, like, which side of the fence were you on? Were you on the Kevin Smith fan side or the non-fan side? And you're sort of sitting there like, what is this movie? So fire away, drop me some comments either here, Facebook or Twitter. All the social media links are in the description below because I like to talk about movies and I would love to talk about movies with you. Catch you next time.
Click subscribe to stay up to date with all the latest movie reviews. Skynet will be taking over any day now, so what have you got to lose? Nyah.